Welcome everyone to Getting Started, Small Business Email Marketing. Hosted by Acorn Studio Marketing, presented by myself, Laura Dunkley. I am the CMO and Principal Consultant, and Emily Watson is the Creative Director at Acorn Studio Marketing. If you haven't had a chance to reach out to us, please do, and also follow us at Acorn Studio Marketing. Our QR code is there. If you're an entrepreneur and want to get involved with a Facebook group, we have some fun and lots of extra conversations going there. And please follow us there at the QR code. And remember, today's session, all the information will be located down below, and we'll have some links to this presentation as well. So let's get started. Email marketing getting started. What you're going to learn in this session today, we are going to go through some email marketing strategy tips. We're going to talk about steps to getting started, creating and building your list, as well as some examples. We're going to actually take you through those steps and what you would see as a new subscriber, and also some tips on how to put a welcome email together. And you're going to see the back end of that, as well as the back end of the MailChimp dashboard, so you can see things like metrics and reports. Now, MailChimp is the one that we use. There are other ones, and we'll mention that as well, but you'll have an idea of some of the reports that you could see through email marketing. And finally, we're going to give you some tips to how to grow your list of email subscribers. If you want to check out our blog, a lot of that is already there, and you can find that at acornstudio.marketing/blog. So let's get started. Why? Why do we even do email marketing? And that's a good place to start when you're considering any new channel for your marketing strategy. Well, 4.3 billion email users are in use right now. That's it, 2003, with the expectation to grow to 4.6 billion in 2025. 333.2 billion emails are expected to be sent and received each day, and that's expected to grow as well. And if that's not enough on why we do this, for every dollar we spend in email marketing, the expectation is that we're going to get the value of at least $40 back. So, or the average return on investment. And that stat has been going on a long time. So has been a very good return on investment, which is why so many of us do email marketing. So some strategy tips, let's go through them. What do we need to consider when we're getting started? Always use a third-party email marketing service provider, and that would be something like MailChimp. There's some other ones we'll mention coming up, and there are a few reasons why. One of which, and we'll talk about that too, but one of which is the fact that they do help manage your compliance. But we'll get into that a little bit later, but do think about that when we're getting started. You need to know about different regulations, such as the Canadian anti-spam law, GDPR, there's a California law as well. We're going to talk a bit about the CASL compliance coming up as well, but it is your responsibility to know the regulations for that kind of privacy, as well as anything that may be relevant to your industry. And then when you are thinking about attracting and retaining your subscribers, just make sure that whatever you give to them, that it's value, not always promotional, that you're actually a resource for them. And then another tip is to segment your subscribers. And I'm going to put the next one in, personalization, as well. And the reason is they go hand in hand. When you come in and to make sure you separate your email subscribers helps you to personalize the emails that they send. You may only have 5 or 6, and maybe all right now is all focused on one thing. But surprisingly, you might start to grow it, and that's our intent. And you may have multiple audiences. And for example, if you're a pet store owner and you have cat owners and you have dog owners, quite different. Well, you don't want to send them the same thing because it'll get lost in the noise and it doesn't really personalize that message. So when they are subscribing and you ask certain questions to segment your audience, are you a cat owner? Are you a dog owner? Click one, the other, or both. And that way they're going, when you do dog promotions, they're going to get dog emails. When you get cat promotions, the cat people will get the cat emails. And that way it cuts through the noise. You're more likely to get them to click and engage and eventually head over to the right place on the website. So that is about segmentation when it's coming in so that you can personalize your campaigns. And then whenever possible, automate. Using a third party will help you do automation. And that way it helps with that journey, right? It's setting up a welcome journey, which we're going to talk about, and you set things in motion so you don't have to do it. Marketing can take a lot of time. So you want to automate whenever possible. Quality over quantity. You want a lot of subscribers, but most importantly, you want the right subscribers. And that means keeping your list clean. So if you do a big promotion or you do a lead generation document where people are subscribing to you, but they just wanted that one document, they're not engaging on a regular basis. Maybe they weren't a qualified lead to begin with and they just had that. They're not doing anything. So it's like, I'm sitting, basically it's a seat that you're paying for because third-party subscribing platforms typically will charge you per seat, like per subscriber. So if that subscriber is not working for you and it's not giving them relevant information, consider archiving it or start to do a re-engagement. And then archive it. So there's a bit of a strategy there, but I just want to say that the number of subscribers is only as good as if the quality is there. And then be consistent. If you're telling people that you're going to send out monthly emails, send out monthly emails. Make sure that when you do the subscription, and that's the CASL compliance, hey, this is what you're going to get, make sure you let them know your frequency. So definitely manage that expectation. That's part of the personalization. It's part of the regulation. But when you tell them you're going to do something, do it. So if you're going to start, say, oh, I can't do monthly, maybe you just do quarterly. And you can always change, but the point is to be consistent. And then make sure you do track your results because truth is in the trends and going back to seeing what works and what doesn't work. Is this the right content? Was this the right time of day? All of those things will help you fine tune your results. And then remember to do learn and adjust because you have to go out and try it. You can use benchmarks. A lot of people say, well, how do I know what's the right? Is this good? Is this not good? The third-party platforms definitely give you an idea for industries. It's like in the healthcare industry, you're going to have expectations has this amount of percentage of opens. Well, that's a good starting point, but the best results are you and your stuff. When are you try different things? Try A/B testing, which means you can do a different headline or a different graphic, and third-party providers allow you to do things like that too. So definitely track your results and then do things, learn from it, and adjust as needed. So let's jump into one of those key things we want to talk about, the CASL compliance. Do you have consent? Which means they need to opt in. You can't have it and say, here, I've just got your email from a list that I purchased, and you can opt out at any point. That doesn't cut it. That's totally against the Canadian anti-spam law, and you could get penalized. So make sure that you authentically go and you get the list of people and you promote your list, and we're going to have a whole bunch of promotion tips at the end, and then you ask them to opt in. It's like, hey, do you want to be part of this list? This is what you're going to get. Click to opt in. Once they opt in, that's what we call express consent. That means you have the consent to send them electronic marketing. Commercial electronic message is what the CEM stands for, but basically it's a marketing email. Includes text as well, just to let you know. But email is what we focused on today. An express consent means, yes, I accept that I will receive that. I know I can safely unsubscribe at any time, and you have them for life until they unsubscribe. That's ultimately what we want to get. That is called express consent. The other consent is implied consent. Implied consent is when that you have a relationship with that person and you can prove it. So either you um, found the email publicly because it was publicly displayed. And if it was publicly displayed, it still has to be relevant. So if I'm going to sell to pet owners, or maybe I sell pet food to pet shops, and I find a pet shop that shows their email, I can send them an email. So that means implied consent. Doesn't mean I can put them on an express consent list, but I can definitely reach out to them and say, hey, we have a promotion, or it's something relevant to what they actually do. Second is if they are your customer, that's implied consent. Third one is if you met someone at a trade show and they gave you a business card, and they asked for information, and you are emailing them about sales related information. That doesn't give you permission to put them on a marketing list, but at that point you have this implied consent that they have verbally or in some way given you consent to email them. The whole idea is to take that implied consent and move them to express consent as quickly as possible, because then you have them. So build that value, ask them to join your email list. If they do, then that is great. So that is the basis of CASL. It is your obligation. You do need to understand these rules. There is no excuse for us as owners not to know this. There is a link below, but even if you Google Canadian anti-spam law, it will come up. And something else to remember, if you are not in Canada and you're in the US or in some other country, if you are sending emails to Canada, it applies. So it's where you are sending the emails to. Okay, let's get started. So step number one, as we mentioned, find a third-party email subscription platform. Why? Because it improves chances of reliable email deliverability, because there's this understanding amongst sort of the mail subscriber platforms. It boosts that credibility. If you are just an individual sending a whole bunch of BCC emails to somebody, they go, "Ooh, this could be off. I don't know who you are." So it really does help using a third party to get that through. It doesn't guarantee, but it does help. It also offers those features we mentioned: automation, segmentation, and analytics. It helps you manage this compliance of the anti-spam law. It will tell you you need to have a physical address in your footer. It won't go out. It will also make sure that you have certain things checked in. If you are require that GDPR, it will help you manage GDPR. There's so many compliance things that it will walk you through that. So I really do encourage that. And some of those examples are MailChimp, Klaviyo, Constant Contact, and HubSpot are just some examples. Do your research, figure out what you need, and then choose accordingly. Just remember that some of them have free versions, but then you are going to be limited with the features. So do have a look at what that is available. Step two, give your subscribers a reason to join, right? Like, they're giving you an email address. This is valuable because they get so many emails. If I'm going to give you something, I am entering and trusting that you are going to give me what you say you're going to give me, and that content is relevant to me. And I'm also trusting I can unsubscribe. And when I unsubscribe, I'm going to truly unsubscribe. So do make sure that you do that and have that all set up. And your third-party email platform will help you manage your email list, stay compliant. So give those subscribers a reason to join. That could be content, challenges, guides, templates, Acorn Studio Marketing. That's mostly what we end up doing. You can offer discounts or special promotions, enroll them in a contest. Make sure if you enroll them in a contest that email marketing list is separate. Just because they're in a contest doesn't mean that you automatically can add them into an email. You have to tell them that this is what you're doing. So be very clear, and it's even better if they're separated, but just be very clear what you're giving to them and what they're signing up for. And then VIP status, musicians, artists, things like that, that could be exclusive access, right, to content, to backend, to new releases, things like that. Very cool. So that's some ways to inspire people and give them incentive to join. Step number three, set up your email platform. Okay, so we've got all that happening. We know the strategy. Now we actually have to do the work. So first thing is import and organize your audiences. You may have a customer list from your CRM. Remember that if you are importing them, that you do have permission to send them emails. You cannot, just to give you an example, take the LinkedIn contacts that you have on your LinkedIn, download them, and then add them to email. That is not okay, because they have given you permission to communicate with them on that platform, but have not given you permission to sign up for an email. So just make sure whatever list you have that you have permission. Import them. Your MailChimp or whoever will provide you with instructions how to do that. Segment your audience based on demographics or behavior. You can use tags, you can use categories. There's different ways to do it. Get that started. If you don't have a list, make sure you set up your segments and you set up that form, right? Do I talk about that? So set up the form so you're getting the right information. So a lot of them have tutorials on how to use that particular platform, but just remember that that segmentation piece is really important at the beginning. Doesn't mean that you can't go in afterwards and segment them. It's just really nice you can have that set up at the beginning, whatever possible. Implement a double opt-in process. What that allows for, and I think many of you have seen this, when someone subscribes, it comes to your email, they'll click on it and they'll go, please confirm your subscription. You click on that, you confirm the subscription, and it tells the email provider that you're safe. The biggest reason for that is if somebody types in the wrong email, it prevents that from happening. Like it's a confirmed, right? So you don't get a lot of those spam bounces. And the second is it does help their email subscriber go, oh, this is cool, because as soon as you click on that, you're basically telling them it's a safe an email. So it's increasing your chances of deliverability and open rate. So do implement. I highly recommend that as a double opt-in process. Then you set up your welcome email journey. That is basically as soon as they subscribe, an automatic email will come to them and going, hey, thanks for joining. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And then part of that email platform, create visually appealing email campaign templates. So the campaign templates is what you're going to use for your newsletters or your promotions or things like that. So that's one of the things. One we didn't mention really in here because it's coming up. It's step 4. Hold on. Okay, step 4, set up your subscription forms. This can be done right in MailChimp. I haven't mentioned it here or wherever. And that is kind of a standalone landing page that you can take a link and it goes right over. You can brand it. You can add all of these different things. You can also in your website create a landing page. You can do pop-ups and things like that. I highly recommend the MailChimp landing page is fine. But having a unique page on your website does a few different things. It allows you to embed a form, and your email subscriber will help you develop a form, or Squarespace is what we use. You can actually connect your Squarespace to MailChimp, which we're going to do I show that? Anyway, it's connected to MailChimp. And so going back to that unique page, so we have an email, subscribe to our email is a page. It's there. What that lets me do is I can link to that page from my email, from any promotional thing. Hey, subscribe to our email, goes to the web page. I can now track all the traffic specifically to that web page. And it's not just a pop-up, because pop-ups disappear, right? And then how do I promote that? How do I promote that on an email signature? How do I promote that on a social media post? Landing page, hub, your website's the hub of everything. Then you can have pop-ups, you can have a bunch of different things too. So that's a key thing. And then make sure you integrate it potentially with other platforms. We use Eventbrite. Eventbrite has CASL compliance. They have to subscribe to that, and then Eventbrite will tell us that that person has subscribed, and it automatically goes over to MailChimp. So that's just some of the things, CRM programs, anything else, other event platforms, you might do it as well. So that's step 4. Step 5 is to promote your email list, let people know about it. To help do that too, sometimes giving away freebies really helps. That's that incentive. But anyways, you got to promote it. And we're going to talk about that right at the end. There's a whole bunch of ways to promote it. So stay with us, because now we're going to talk about welcome emails. And you don't have to do a welcome email. A lot of people don't. It takes a little bit. And this for sure, MailChimp, you have to pay a little bit to do the welcome email, but it's a nice thing, right? And basically what that is there's a trigger that you set up. And when someone subscribes, you can say send it immediately, send it in 5 days, whenever that is. And what it does is this. So you have the form, you have your email list, you have a confirmation landing page. I'm going to show you this a little bit easier in the next few slides. But basically it's like, okay, I've confirmed, I've signed up for my email. And then they're gonna go to their email and there's gonna be, hey, opt in, make sure that you truly did subscribe, click. And those little envelopes are the person subscribing. And then what that's going to do is now it's going to trigger that welcome email. And then your system sends that welcome email. Hey, thanks for subscribing. This is a little bit about my company. And it goes into stuff like that. Or it's like, hey, here's the first challenge that you're going to get. Or hey, thanks, here's your discount code. It's that extra little piece. And then you can go to a final welcome landing page, but not essential. And one welcome email is nice. You can have multiple ones. You can say once they click on this, they can do this. So you can have a welcome email that has, hey, we sell cat and dog stuff. Which one are you? Let us know. And that's when you can ask a question. It's like, wow, thanks, that's really good. And if they click on the cat one, it will set up a trigger to now send a cat promotion. Here's the dog. Here's a combination. You can take them down a whole bunch of ways. It's kind of cool. It takes a little bit to set up, but oh man, once it's automated, it's great. So just a tip, welcome emails are cool. If you want to learn a little bit more, I did write a blog on this. It's lauradunkley.com. Follow the link there, and there's a little more step by step. Okay, let's take you through an example. We have a landing page on ours. Join our email list. We have a pop-up. Might not look exactly like this anymore. We do change it out a bit. In our footer, that's that link we told you about, right? And it goes to that landing page. On that landing page is this image, right? And it's basically saying join our email list and what they're going to be getting. You're going to be the first to hear about upcoming events, blogs, new downloads, special features, and more. So sign up today and receive a free one-page business plan. That's what we have right now. Now, when they go to that sign up form, then they can fill out some more stuff. So this is what happens when they click to go to sign up. So now it goes to this form page. And this is the form page that we have set up through MailChimp. And now I can start asking a little bit information. Now ours is a little bit more in depth. You want to do less is more, right? And sometimes all you want to ask is them subscribe. Give me your email list. Give me your email address. And that's the bare minimum. First name and email address is probably what I want to recommend to everybody. And you do want to keep it simple. We do ask a little bit more. So we ask for the industry and we also ask for what emails they want to receive. And this is where we have people that just want monthly Acorn Marketing e-news and then the Grow weekly ones. And then we also, and so this is what it looks like clicked, and then they go to subscribe. And then this will pop up too. This is a reCAPTCHA. This is the I'm not a robot. You see this all the time, right? Just to make sure to minimize spam. It is part of your setup in the settings. So make sure you do click that you do want this if you want it. It's just an extra layer. And then once they click on that and they say subscribe, thank you for subscribing. And this is what they get, a link right away to the freebie. And you also will see, whoops. You will also see our address. This is crucial for CASL compliance. If you have any questions, our contact information. And we set up the double opt-in. So now what's going to happen is our subscriber is going to get an email and then they will click on, yes, subscribe me to this list. Now there's a danger that what if they don't subscribe to this list, that they just wanted that freebie? It's okay. I would much rather them decide and confirm, because it's like, hey, we're giving you something, we're getting something. If they're not going to be wanting to be on our subscription base, that's okay. I would much rather that than have them sitting there, me paying a seat and them not coming in. Totally up to you about the double opt-in. I've told you the reasons for it, but not everyone does it. And then what happens after they subscribe, then they get a new one. Now, it doesn't happen right away, depends on, it goes into queue. They're going to get something in their email that says, welcome to Acorn, access your free download. And this is part of the email, welcome email. And it's going to look like that. And this is their welcome email. So we put a little story. Thanks for subscribing. Here's a little bit more about us. Here's your free download, just in case you missed the pop-up, right? Because you've gone out of your browser. It's now in your email. We also have, hey, if you forward to a friend, it's always a good thing to ask to forward to a friend if you think this is great. All the links to our social, our website, even our address is reiterated there again. So that is the first of the welcome emails. We only have one. If you do this and you do ask for them to click on something, you can set up multiple ones that can be automated. Now we have the back end. So here is MailChimp's back end. And if you see highlighted under the audience, you can have multiple audiences. I do recommend, and they recommend, one audience. Now, sometimes you do need more, but think fewer the better in audiences, because what happens is people will unsubscribe from one audience thinking they're unsubscribed from the other ones. It's really hard to manage multiple ones. So now what they have is one audience and these segments. And then you have tags and you have categories. So then you can start separating it underneath. You can start creating segments like, okay, only this person is my customer. Or what about people that are left in a shopping cart? You can do so much more. So really, unless there's a reason that two audiences would not ever merge together, try and stick with one. And so the sign up form, all the information is there. That dashboard kind of gives you that uh, the look, what's new, that new contact. If I wanted to see what new contacts I got in, what are the different tags, where are they actually coming from? All of that is in your dashboard. And then we have campaigns, and campaigns are what you send out, right? There's your promotional campaign, it's going to be your newsletter, and you're going to see all of them. If you click all, you're going to see multiple ones there. Now you can create templates and then redo it, or else if you have one newsletter you're doing all the time, you can actually replicate them and then go in and make those changes. So this is kind of, once you go into a campaign, a little bit about what it looks like. All those sections on the side are all those content builders, very much like a website, right? The drag blocks across. You have buttons, you have headings, you have images, you can embed video. It's kind of cool. And then what this looks like is just a basics. I'm not getting into all of them, but if you subscribe to our newsletter, you're going to see what they look like. And then if you go under to the left there, you have styles, right? So that's your text. What are the links? What are the colors? What are your dividers going to look like? Sort of more, very much like building out a website. Customer journeys. This is where the automation comes in. You do, again, have to have a paid plan for this one. And then they have different ones set up as an examples, or you can start from scratch. So you'll go in similar to a campaign and you will create an if then that. And this is kind of what it looks like. So once you go in, it starts at the top, which is the trigger. It's like, okay, when they subscribe, the welcome one will show that welcome email. And then you go into that click, and then you can set up your whole email when it's going to go, very similar to a campaign. And then you can start to add different ones. I mean, this is a very simple one. At the very least, just start with one simple, and then you can start creating more. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Audiences, campaigns, and journeys. There's so much more. Just go through, I would say, do any of their tutorials, whether it's MailChimp or Constant Contact, and have a look at actually how to do it. But doesn't matter which platform you choose, if you take those steps and go through them, then you will start from finish, have your email marketing all ready to go. So now let's promote our list. 32 ways to promote them. I'm just going to list a few, but here's a top few just in the list. Doesn't mean they're the most important, but It's always good to get some ideas. Create high quality content, no brainer, right? That's that value piece. Make sure it's good stuff. Make sure it looks good. And make sure when you do your campaigns, you check mobile versus desktop. And then offer incentives, right? This is the freebies we talked about to entice the users to sign up. And then run contests and giveaways. That's another good way. Use exit intent pop-ups. That's if you have people scrolling through and you can time those pop-ups. Some of the websites let you do that. It's like, okay, they're here and they're about to leave. Say you figure they're going to leave about 3/4 of the way through, a pop-up will come up then. Share on social media, for sure. Put that as part of your schedule. Host webinars and events like this. This is one way that we actually get people to subscribe because there's downloads. Do this. Here's the content you're going to get. You're going to be the first to know about it. So it is one of the ways to do it. And then, of course, there are so many more. So check it out, acornstudio.marketing/blog/steps building quality email list, cut and paste. I will also make sure I put any of these links down below and comment. If anyone else has ideas that you have found that works really well, if you find that you're using a platform that works well, we would love to hear your comments. Just put them down below and we'll get in touch. And don't forget that we're around. So follow us, Acorn Studio Marketing. That's our website. If you need help doing your email marketing, let us know. That is one of the things that we help our entrepreneurs do.